Today, I'm going to talk about hybrid aquarium fish. Now, this can be quite a controversial subject because there are many people that really enjoy hybrids, and there are a lot of people that are adamant that hybrids should not exist and don't belong in a hobby at all. As far as myself, originally I was kind of in the camp of, it wasn't for me. I'm not a big fan of hybrids for a few reasons, which we'll talk about a little bit later on. But a recent trip to South Florida kind of changed my mind. Is it recording? Yeah. All right, let's pause right here. Yes, that did happen. I did crash my drone. So if you do want to see the full kind of story leading up to me crashing a drone, as well as some amazing footage from the trip to Florida, full well-edited video at the end of this video, there will be a link that you'll be able to click on and watch that other video, which is really fun to watch. So I do recommend watching till the end and going and watching that other video as well. Hey fish friends, how's it going? Hope you're doing well. My name is Zenzo from Tazawa Tanks. Now, as I shared, yes, I did go on a trip to South Florida recently. Myself and other people from the Aquarium Co-op team went to go attend the American Live Bearer Association convention, which happened in South Florida. And while we were there, we also had an opportunity to visit a few fish farms and to collect some fish in the wild. Not really the wild, and if you go watch that other video, you'll kind of see what I'm talking about. And it was during this trip that, a couple of things. One, I really enjoyed my time going to these fish farms. I had never been to a fish farm before, and seeing how the fish are kept outside in these giant kind of vats, concrete vats, and these kind of small pools, so to speak, really kind of made me wish that one day I will be able to live in a warm climate where I will also be able to have some fish outside like this. But really, really fun. So in addition to all the beautiful fish that we saw, during one of the stops, we went to Summerland Tropical Fish Farm, and I will put a link below to that video as well. Very, very cool fish farm that we went to. But there were two fish in an aquarium there that I was questioning, and ended up seeing the fish that spawned from these two fish, and I was amazed, blown away, and that got me kind of thinking about this whole hybrid thing again. Now, before I get into those two fish and the fish that they created, which were beautiful fish, I want to talk a little bit about hybrids. Now, I'm not talking about hybrids like color variations. So, like in the African cichlid community, as an example, when people think about hybrids, they're usually thinking about color variations, OBs as an example, which means orange blotch. I happen to really love OBs and hybridized fish like that. I've got a bunch in this aquarium back here, and basically they are all the same fish, are just different color variants. And if you have a male of one color variant that breeds with a female with another color variant, and they spawn and have fry babies and those grow up, they can look either like the dad or like the mom, or they'll look just kind of like a combination. That's where you kind of get that orange blotch, where you get a kind of a mix of colors. So I personally don't mind those. In fact, I think that they're very beautiful. There are some people in the African community, African cichlid community, that don't like those, and I can understand, their reasoning, but for me, I never minded that. Additionally, I'm not talking about other like genetic mutations or variations of a specific fish, like a long fin pleco as an example. So if you have a bristlenose pleco and you selectively breed it to have longer fins, so you get a long fin variant, or like a long fin koi fish or anything, I'm not talking about those. And I'm also not talking about things that have like a short body, like a balloon ram or something like that, where they've been kind of, again, selectively bred to get that shorter body. When I'm talking about hybrids, I'm talking about two very different fish that were able to spawn and have offspring, and those offspring result in a completely different looking fish that wouldn't occur naturally in the wild. So thinking about hybrids, don't think of something like different color variation of like a tiger, like if you have like an albino tiger, or if you have like a leopard or something that comes out black, it's like a black panther. I mean more like a liger, right? Where you have like I think it's a male lion and a female tiger. In the wild, that's not ever going to happen. And if it were to happen, it probably would only happen once or twice ever in the history of the Earth. So basically, first of all, they live on different continents, right? Lions are in Africa, tigers are mostly in Asia, and it's very unlikely that you're going to have that happen in the wild, and that usually happens in some setting where some human decides to mate a male and a female of two different species, and then you get a liger, which is a very odd looking thing. Usually they're infertile and have health problems, things like that. So with fish, it's kind of the same thing. There are certain fish that are total hybrids. So as an example, like a parrotfish, a King Kong parrot, I believe is a combination of like a Midas cichlid and a severum, if I believe that's correct. Usually the males are infertile, the females are fertile, and that's, again, not a fish that would normally occur in the wild. Or a flower horn, as an example, which is a very popular fish in a lot of places. I happen to like looking at them. I think they're interesting. I personally have never kept one and may never keep one, but it's kind of not my thing. But I can appreciate how some people like them, but again, it's not my thing. But that's, again, a fish that was created by blending different fish. I think there's 2 or 3 fish that people will put together to create the flower horn. Now, for me, one of the reasons why I've never really been a fan of hybrids before is that, for me, I've always felt like they looked a little bit off. I always felt like it didn't look like a fish that you would normally see occurring in the wild. And whether it was a parrotfish or a flower horn or some other kind of hybrid, you know, you've even seen like shovel-nosed catfish that have been bred with like a red tail or something. It just looks a little bit odd to me, kind of like some mythical creature, right? And yeah, it just wasn't something that really appealed to me. Additionally, there's usually, you know, issues like culling. So usually when you have, you know, you're taking fish and breeding them together, you'll have like a lot of fry that are the result of that spawn, and very few of those fry actually take on the characteristics that people are looking for. So majority of those are culls, meaning that the majority of the baby fish that result from that spawn are put down, destroyed, fed, whatever, because they just didn't meet the criteria for that breeding project. And a lot of times there's other health issues that can arise just because it's, again, not something that would happen naturally in nature. But with that being said, there are a lot of people that do enjoy hybrids for their ornamental value, you know, their beliefs, their colors, whatever it may be. And again, who am I to say that they don't belong in a hobby? It's just not something that I particularly have liked before in the past. Now that leads us back to these amazing fish that I saw while I was at Summerland Fish Farm in Florida. And up until this point, I had never seen this fish before. When I came home, I did some research and discovered that this is actually not some anomaly, and it is quite common apparently as far as hybridizing these 2 fish. So what happened is, while we were touring the fish farm, we went into this room where they had a few aquariums, where they had a few fish kind of set aside, and there was this large tank that had a big Texas cichlid and a parrot cichlid. And I thought, that's a very interesting combination to have a large Texas cichlid that can be quite aggressive with this parrotfish, this parrot cichlid that was also in the tank. And when I looked at the tank, I thought, there's a little bit of breeding activity. You could tell that they had kind of like cleared a little area for spawning. So when I asked them the story, they basically told me that at one point in time, there were a bunch of fish in this aquarium, and the Texas cichlid was not having it with pretty much all the fish, so they had to move them out. And the only one that it would tolerate and would want to be around was this female parrot cichlid. So they let the 2 be alone, and they ended up spawning. And they told me that they actually had the fish that came out of that spawn, and they showed them to me. So we went outside and they showed me these fish that were amazing.
I don't think they look anything attractive like either parent. But let's go over to another pool, because I got some bigger ones. It is. I mean, that's the baby out of it.
Oh, that's pretty. It's a Texas parrot.
Yeah. I should show that to Josh. He's gorgeous.
That's amazing.
It's the first time he's been photographed. The baby pictures. Is Josh?
It's his first picture.
So as you can see, it's a very beautiful, nice looking fish, and I was really happy that they showed them to me. And when I saw that one that was kind of the larger one that I just showed you, that was kind of more colored up, I thought, this doesn't look like some crazy looking, weird, unnatural fish. It looked just like a really beautiful New World cichlid that I would want to keep. And when I came home and did my research, I found out that People call them like a red Texas or whatever, but basically this is quite common, I guess, where they will take a Texas cichlid and a female parrot and try to spawn them together. They've even tried with like red King Kong parrots and you know, really kind of more red colored Texas cichlids to try to get more of that red Texas look. But regardless, very beautiful fish. I was, you know, fascinated with it, and it kind of got me thinking about the whole hybrid thing again. So I don't know if I'm going to be keeping any like true hybrid fish in the near future, but it did, you know, kind of open my eyes to a different part of the hobby that I had never considered before. Now, I'd love to read down below in the comments your thoughts on hybrids, and I'm sure that there's going to be a lot of comments about people hating them, loving them, or maybe people that are indifferent, but comment down below what your thoughts are on hybrids. Are you team love hybrids? Do you hate hybrids? Are you somewhere in the middle? Do you keep them? And yeah, comment down below. I'd love to read kind of what your thoughts on hybrid fish. Now again, don't forget at the end of this video, right about now, you'll be able to click on one of these links here and check out that fun Florida tour. That's all I had for now. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you on the next one.